But you know, instead of human friends, I made lots of other different kinds of friends. Do you know what I'm talking about? The kinds of friends I mean? You know, like grasses and flowers, stars and the wind. I can talk to them all now. I bet you don't believe me, but it's true. Believe your older sister. It's wonderful. In fields of flowers, so many flowers talk about love, and the winds and the stars have poems that are like jewels, and they send them to me on a cool morning or a quiet night. So this must be the meaning of the friends that she'd written about in her diary. Naomi was completely living in her own world. Humans are so ugly, don't you think? And they're so sad. Everything they believe in just falls apart straight away. Something you believed in until yesterday. Today, it turns into some kind of beast or monster that you don't even know what it is anymore. And then it starts to make me suffer. Nami, thanks to you, I was burdened with this burn mark. And I hated you for it in the past, but not anymore. I have friends in the trees and the flowers, I can hear the voices of the stars and the wind, not ugly humans. Nami, I'm so happy. And as your older sister, I want you to taste this happiness as well. And the wheelchair started to move. Well then, let's go. It'll only be hot for a moment. Now I understood. Naomi wanted to give Nami the same kind of burn mark that she had. Wait! I screamed out. At the same time, Naomi turned back to look at me. Oh yes, that's right. I have to close the lid of the coffin. And Naomi came closer. I couldn't move nor stand up. Nami! Wake up! Nami! And I shouted, but Nami was still completely out of it. I'm really thankful to you, you know, Naomi said, peering in at me. I mean, you went to all the trouble of bringing my little sister Nami back to me. Thank you so much. And now, good night. Naomi forcibly pushed me down as I struggled, and in the moment that she closed the lid, she threw a lit candle into the coffin. Now it won't be dark for you. It's hot. And I twisted my body to avoid the flame. The candle continued burning inside the coffin. What a crazy woman. She means to burn me to death. At least with the Otogirisou flowers being fresh, they didn't catch fire straight away. But it's smoky. If this continues, then I'll choke to death. I've got to put it out somehow. I rolled my body over to try to put it out. It's hot. The fire was really hot. And then I thought maybe I could burn the rope tying my hands behind my back together using the flame. It's hot, but I clenched my teeth together and twisted my body within the narrowest confines of the coffin. Hurry, come on, break. And then they broke. I smashed open the lid of the coffin. The door was shut, and Naomi and Nami were nowhere to be seen. When I looked at the window, I saw that the curtains were on fire too. This woman is crazy. She means to burn me twice over. I hurriedly undid the ropes around my legs and dashed towards the door. Come on, please, be open. But I guess it wasn't going to be that easy. It was locked from the outside and it wouldn't budge. When I looked around the room, there didn't seem to be anything that I could use to put out the fire. The flames from the curtains were sending up black smoke and had started to burn the ceiling. If I don't get out soon, I'll be covered in this smoke and choke to death. I dragged the coffin a little bit forward towards the door, stood it up, and then pushed it over with all my strength. The hinges flew off and the door opened. Nami! Neither of them were in the corridor. Where have you gone? And I opened the door in front of me. The moment I did, just in front of my nose, something swung by. It was the axe from the armor and it was sticking out. There must have been some kind of mechanism so that when you opened the door, it came flying out. If I had entered the room 1 second faster, I would have been dead. I've got to be careful. There was no one in the room. I thought maybe it might come in useful, so I took the axe with me. I thought it'd be better not to just barge my way into any door. I didn't know what kind of mechanism might be on them after all. I suddenly had an idea about where Nami might have gone. It was that room that I tried to get in before and couldn't get into. That room that when I tried to go into it before, Nami had seemed unusually scared. That sealed room. They must be in there, I decided. When I got close to the door of the sealed room, I heard voices from inside. From the keyhole, I softly looked inside. Nami was seated directly in front of me, and at some point, she'd been changed into the same white dress as Naomi, and her hair was tied back. It seemed like Nami had woken up now, but she was tied to the chair and she had a gag in her mouth. Next to her, there was another person sitting, but because Naomi was blocking my vision, I couldn't see who it was properly. Naomi was preparing some kind of medicine on the table next to her. It looked like it was some kind of very strong medicine, because every time she stirred it, white smoke rose from it. I softly took the doorknob and tried turning it, but it was locked from the inside. Okay, with this, we'll finally become true twins. Nami, take a look at Mother. And Nami moved. Sitting next to Nami was that mummy. Oh, so the mummy must be her mother. Naomi took the flask containing the medicine that gave off the white smoke and brought it close to Nami's face. Nami was trying her hardest to move her face away from it. It'll only take a moment, and she tipped the flask. Nami twisted her neck and managed to avoid it. The drop of medicine that fell out from the flask landed on the back of the chair, and white smoke rose up from it. Stop doing that, Nami. This is for you, you know. Naomi held down Nami's head. Nami had tears in her eyes. You don't have to cry. It will really only hurt for a second. With the axe raised and ready, I kicked down the door. Stop! And I threw the axe towards Naomi. Ah! She lost her balance as she tried to dodge the axe, and accidentally she poured the medicine over the mummy. As we looked on, the mummy's face began to melt away. Ah! Mother! Mother, your face! And whilst keeping an eye on Naomi in the corner of my eye, I began to undo Nami's ropes. Kohei! Nami! There was a loud sound and the room shook. Those flames from before must have spread. How dare you do this to Mother? How dare you do this to my mother? Naomi glared at me with angry eyes. Let's run! And grabbing Nami's hand, we went out into the corridor. Another explosion. The whole mansion was shaking. As if rolling down the stairs, we ran down and made it back to the entrance hall. We can't get out this way. It's okay. And I gripped the axe. When I did, just then, flames flew up from our feet. It's no good, we can't get towards the door. Nami, get away from here. And I swung the axe at the aquarium, but what came out of the aquarium wasn't water. Perhaps it must have been changed at some point, but some kind of black lump or form came out, and as we looked on, it spread across the whole floor. Snakes! It's a big group of snakes! And the snakes slithered across the floor, and within an instant had split us up. Kohei, it's no good, these are poisonous. Nami, you get out from the back way, through that corridor. I'll go out through the terrace. I'll meet you in the back garden. Make sure you come, okay? Nami disappeared into the corridor. From the hallway, I went to the back garden terrace and went out into the darkness. Nami! When I came out onto the terrace, I ran down the stairs and looked towards the back exit of the mansion and waited. Nami should come out of there, but flames were already starting to spout out from the boiler room which was in front of it. Okay, so that explosion must have been the boiler room. Nami's gonna pass close by there. Will she be okay? Nami still hadn't come out. I headed towards the back entrance and started running. I ran past the window of the kitchen. Nami still hadn't come out. I passed by the bathroom. The iron door that Nami should come out of still hadn't opened. Nami! Nami! I passed by the boiler room burning red. And when I got to the concrete landing at the back door, the iron door finally opened. Nami! Covered in smoke and holding herself up by the door, Nami finally came out. Nami! Passing through the flames, I ran up and grabbed onto Nami. Nami, stay with me. Flames were already covering the mansion everywhere, and the glass windows were breaking one after another. Carrying Nami on my back, we ran away to where it was safe. Nami was still not awake. I laid Nami down on the grass and called out to her. Nami, it's okay now. We're safe. And finally, Nami slowly opened her eyes. Nami, thank goodness. And I hugged Nami. In the darkness of the garden at night, the mansion burned red. Suddenly, Nami stood up and turned back to look towards the mansion. Nami, the mansion that was crumbling. From within those flames, I heard a scream that I knew all too well. Kohei! I felt a cold chill on my spine. That voice, it was Nami. But it can't be. Suddenly, I swung around to look at the woman next to me. Could it be... I mean, they're identical, so I wouldn't be able to know the difference. And I started to panic. But then there's the burn. And I called the woman. The woman slowly turned around and pushed aside her fringe, and there I saw